The 13 on Your Side Weather Deck is sponsored by Montel Construction, your home team.
Well, we have a nice and quiet start to the day, but we're not staying that way. We've got some more snow in our forecast, and that's going to be in place throughout much of this weekend. On and off snow showers that we'll be able to see. System snow that's moving through, transitioning over to more lake effect as we're heading into the end of the weekend and even continuing into the work week. 13 weather balls blinking bright. A little bit more snow is in sight. That's going to be in place once again throughout much of this weekend. It's also red. Warmer weather is ahead. So today we're going to be reaching close to the freezing mark for many areas, which could give us a little bit of a wintry mix for some. Here's a look at the airport right now. 23 degrees, winds right around 12 miles an hour, so it feels more like 12. Definitely a cold morning, but once again, fairly quiet for now. A couple of little snow showers that look to be popping up just north of Grand Rapids, but for the most part, we're not necessarily seeing a lot going on, at least to start the day. We do have a system that's going to be tracking in our direction, though, bringing some snowfall close to about 9, 10 a.m. and then continuing into the afternoon. Temperatures today, they're going to be climbing up close to about 30 degrees, but further south that you go, especially along the I-94 corridor, we could get closer to the freezing mark, which is what could give us a little bit of freezing drizzle, the possibility for some mixing. So let's track all of that out. Close to about 9 a.m. seeing this potential for some of this snow to start moving in, mainly to the south of I-96. Now, we might be able to see a little bit of mixing at this point, but for the most part, I'm going to say that mixing should mainly hold off until this afternoon as those temperatures are warming up. This is what's happening into the afternoon. More snow on the way, curving around. Now, this is going into this low pressure system that's going to be passing through further off to our south. So we still are anticipating some more of that snow, possibly a few dry pockets. So we're not going to be snowy all weekend long. It's going to be on and off, but we are anticipating more snow on the way as we're heading into tonight as well. Still, here's what we're expecting from basically right now until 7 p.m. How much snow can we see? Right around 2 to 4 inches looks to be most likely for many of us that are to the north of I-96. Between about I-96 and US 10, that's where that 2 to 4 inches looks to be a possibility. South of that, though, looking at about 1 to 2 inches. That potential for a little bit of mixing is going to likely limit some of our accumulations, limit some of those totals down to that about 1 to 2 inch mark. We're not done, though, once we get past that. So continuing on here, 7 p.m., looks like we could have a little bit of dry air, but it doesn't last very long. We do continue to see some more snow wrapping around behind this low pressure system as it continues to move further off to the east, and eventually it'll start to move further off to the northeast as well. Now, this is mainly going to be a system that impacts the east side of the state, closer to Detroit, getting into the thumb. That's where we're going to be anticipating the highest totals, but still looking at some impacts here for West Michigan, especially as we're heading into the rest of our Sunday. Now, look how winds are already starting to come mainly out of the north. They're going to start to shift to be more north-northwest as we're heading into Sunday afternoon, bringing some more lake effect on the way as well. That will be continuing with us into Sunday night and even into Monday morning. So we do have more lake effect on the way as we're getting into the upcoming work week. Here's a look at totals that we're expecting from that system snow transitioning over to a little bit of lake effect. Now, this is looking from tonight, this evening at 7 p.m. until tomorrow at lunchtime, essentially. Looking at some heavier bursts of snow as that system passes through, bringing most of that snowfall further east, but especially in this line that we're drawing from about Mount Pleasant down to Kalamazoo. To the east of that line, we could see about 2 to 4 inches of snowfall. It looks like to the west of that line, looking at about 1 to 2 inches of snowfall. I will say that confidence in this forecast specifically isn't exactly the greatest. Models have not been agreeing on this system very much. Dry air being thrown into some models where others haven't necessarily been seeing it. This is going to be a developing and pretty tricky forecast throughout this weekend, but this is what we're looking at right now. This is what we're expecting as we're heading into our Sunday early afternoon. 13 weather impact alert in place for our Saturday and Sunday. Lake effect will be continuing throughout much of Sunday. Temperatures dropping down, so we're only going to be topping out close to about 25 degrees. Lake effect continues into Monday as well, and it's even colder, right around 17. That cold weather is going to be sticking with us into next week as well, bringing more lake effect chances into Tuesday. As far as today goes, Lakeshore Zone seeing temperatures that are sitting close to about 30 degrees, but warmer the further south you go. This is where we could end up seeing a little bit of mixing. Temperatures for our northern zone staying entirely below freezing, so that's where we're just going to be seeing snow entirely, but then a little bit of mixing further south. Kalamazoo could be right at 32 degrees today. That's where we could see that possibility for some freezing drizzle a little bit later on. Your 13 on your side 7-day forecast. 13 weather impact alert in place today and tomorrow, wrapping it up as we're heading into the work week, but the impacts aren't necessarily done yet. Still looking at the potential for some lake effect Monday into Tuesday, and cold temperatures settling in. Overnight lows likely to only be in the single digits.